Hey guys, my name's Dale, and you're watching The Factoid. Upside down. A simple action, and a simpler construct, originating from the Old English phrase up so down, which sounds like something a teenage girl would say, which at the time would mean up as if down. Take that as you will. I mean, we've all been upside down at least at one time in our life, whether it be playing around as a child or on an amusement park ride, or even when you were born or in your mother's womb. A healthy baby in the womb should be upside down, and when birthed, should be birthed head first, which would in turn mean the baby is upside down. Being that it is very dangerous for a child to be born feet first because it has the possibility of being strangulated on its umbilical cord, and sometimes cesarean sections are necessary. So being upside down can play an important part, not only in humans' lives, but the lives of the things around us. That said, being upside down for humans can be dangerous and beneficial for our health. The longest record for being held upside down was done by illusionist David Blaine. He managed to be upside down for 3 days, even though doctors had to stand him up at least once an hour to check his health. 3 days is a while, but he's a professional. The average person shouldn't probably try that. Most people would lose consciousness at about 12 hours. That is if you're not killed by having an aneurysm or a blood clot or a stroke. Though if those don't kill you, most people will die after about 24 hours where people would start hemorrhaging. But as I said, there is a flip side to it. Yeah. Being upside down can be therapeutic for you, whether it be relieving strain on your back or providing extra blood flow to the brain. There's a yoga pose with many ways to pronounce its name, but one of them is Shirshasana, also known as headstand, and it looks like this. It's seen as beneficial because it can give extra blood flow to the brain, which in turn people say improves their memory, with also clearing the blood from the lymph nodes in the legs, which helps move fluids around, which can include molecular and cellular waste, to name a few things. And people who are very good at this can do it for well over 6 to 8 hours straight. No pun intended. But a few minutes a day can be beneficial to your health. One of the most famous people to do acts upside down was Harry Houdini. And in case you don't know him, I don't know how you couldn't know him, he was an amazing escape artist who did a lot of performances back in the early 20th century. And as you can see by this footage, he's in a straitjacket upside down, and some of his most interesting stunts were having him upside down. But as I said, it's not only humans who can benefit from being upside down. Plenty of animals do too, whether it be temporary or a permanent lifestyle. Bats, sloths, and opossums tend to be upside down when resting. That said, flamingos have to be upside down, or at least their head does, in order to eat. They use their mouth as a filter, and they can only do so when their head is upside down. But there are a few animals that prefer to live their whole life upside down. One of these animals is called the upside down jellyfish. But probably the coolest of them all is the upside down catfish. And as you can see by this footage, it is rather interesting being that they truly swim most of their lives upside down. People are still trying to study what are the benefits of doing this, but being that they're still around, even in the wild, there must be some benefit to it. Another thing that can be benefited by growing upside down are plants. You've probably seen the Topsy-turvy. Oh, the Topsy-turvy. Such an amazing feat of ingenuity, but it actually is quite impressive. But it's not just tomatoes that can grow upside down. Strawberries, cucumbers, summer squash, beans, peppers, eggplant are a few plants that can be grown upside down quite well. And there are benefits to plants growing upside down, one being that they're not fighting gravity. Some studies show that they also manage to obtain more sunlight, which allows them to produce more sugars and grow better. Also, it's easier for them to be pollinated. The only thing you need to watch out for is keeping them hydrated, since the soil, being upside down, does not stay as hydrated. And sometimes planting herbs on the top side of the unit can keep water within it much easier. But that's another thing you can plant upside down too. Herbs. Or herbs, whatever you want to call them. Pick your poison. But another cool thing that some people know is the way the eye works by inverting images upside down. When light enters through the cornea, it's reversed when it hits the lens of the eye. This in turn flips it upside down when it hits the retina. The inverted image then travels to the occipital lobe where it is inverted and understood so that way you see the world the way you do. It's a very intricate process. But speaking of seeing things, did you know if you see a flag that is upside down, that is a distress signal? Though it's not as common today being that we have the technology to communicate with people from long distances, placing a flag upside down is a distress signal and means that people need help. It's universally understood and an important thing to know if you're ever in a survival situation, you could say. Another fun fact is if you know the Chili's restaurant franchise, every single one of their restaurants has a single picture that is upside down. So try to find it the next time you go to Chili's restaurant. But the last point I want to make, which may be the coolest I think, is the world upside down or upside right. I mean, what makes the down under the down under? It's people who made the maps. But in all reality, the bottom of the planet could technically be the top. Maybe it's actually the side of the planet. Who knows? There are plenty of maps on the internet and available for you to purchase that show the world upside down. And it would be no more wrong than the maps that we typically think of being the norm. So who knows, the down under could actually be the up above. But if not, then that's what Canada is, the great up above. My question for you guys is what was the craziest thing you've ever seen or experienced that was upside down? Before I go, I just want to do a call out to the channel pl랫oRoM to let me do another voiceover for their channel. If you'd like to check out that video, click right here, or there's a link in the description. So my name's Dale, you're watching The Factoid, and remember, never stop learning. Thank you. Here's a chart that science came up with. You know, that little thing that we should probably rely more on than some 16th, 17th century guy's opinion? According to science, or the Fitzpatrick